The biggest problem with our society today, kids have too many good options. I always chose the path of most resistance because that's where the action was. The one thing I learned when I sold my business was I'm not nearly financial motivated enough. And then being able to help people inside was the most rewarding and fulfilling thing for me.
You were at a certain point, you're already successful in the business. Why are you willing to pay that price at that point in time? It's not about money at that point.
The biggest problem with our society today, kids have too many good options.
Mm,
I always chose the path of most resistance
why?
because that's where the action was. That's where the opportunity was. That's where you could connect your vision. I struggled for significance, man. So like I wanted to own it. I wanted to star. I mean, like if, I needed attention. Like honestly, I mean, if you look at it, I needed attention. So my need for attention made me work really hard on the basketball team to start, made me really work hard to be a football star. It made me work hard to start a business. Like I didn't want, and then once I developed that autonomy, I couldn't do anything else but, put myself in situations where I had the control and I had I had control over what happened to me. So that was just, I mean, it's a, I could say, well, I grew up and, the family life could have been better, but, bull crap, man. Steel sharpens steel and iron sharpens iron or whatever that is. And it made me, it made me very resilient. And walking into a disaster, a storm, or driving into it as an advanced crew and not having anywhere to stay and having, very limited resources and not knowing what's going on. Like that was just like, there's nothing I loved more than going into a disaster zone. And then I had a heart for people, and then being able to help people inside was the most rewarding and fulfilling thing for me, which is why I probably coached over 30 seasons of my kids' sports and why I love franchising, because I get to help people be entrepreneurs inside of this have freedom within a framework to really change their life. I mean, franchising is transitional and transformational in people's lives. They can transition from one, whoever they are into entrepreneurship. And then they can, if they do well at it, man, it's transformational from the economics and the freedom that they can get from it. So they can be a different person coming out of the end and we're going in, and I'm a catalyst to that. So like, if I don't do anything else, and I can look back at the thousands of people that I've put in business, and, they didn't all take full advantage of it, but many of them did. And I can, at the end of the day, I can feel pretty good about that. Also contributing to generational wealth, economic stability on Main Street, USA. Small business is a huge part of our GDP. It's the middle class, a strong middle class. It's fundamental to a healthy society. And we're contributing to all of those things. And then also too, we get to, I did partner with Ben and Candy Carson and their Carson Scholars. And so we're building reading rooms across the country in Title I areas, providing resources to schools, children that don't otherwise have access to these things. And then we partnership with Operation Homefront to help transitioning U.S. veterans. So at the end of the day, like I get to go to work and do all these things. And then we get to actually impact future generations by the things that we're doing. And for me, the one thing I learned when I sold my business was I'm not nearly financial motivated enough. I know people that like it's every dollar and the compound interest and, save money in every transaction and all of those types of things. And that's fine, right? I mean, that's fine, but it's not at the top of the house for me. And I mean, it's certainly important because you can't have any outcomes until you have income. So we want to be good. We want to keep score. We want to be good business people. We want to be conforming. We want to deliver shareholder value. So we certainly do all that. But like, it's like, I get a little bit more excited about going down to Palm Beach and keynoting and like holding that room. Like I held every eye in that room for an hour and 15 minutes. I didn't see anybody look away. I didn't see anybody. And when I asked what was the biggest, most important thing you got out of it, it was like 20 people. Like they just went boom, 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 boom. So I knew people were paying attention. And by virtue of that, I knew that they had found something that they could take with them and help them in their life. And for me, that was it. Look, message delivered. Whatever these people do with it, they do with it. But that made it worthwhile for me to invest the time and the energy and the money to get down there and do it.
If you enjoyed this short clip from the podcast, you can check out another short clip right here. Or if you want to watch the full episode of this podcast, you can watch that here. And remember, knowledge is not power. It's applied knowledge that's power. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.